Welcome to another VC Wisdom Pod. We have Vaslav Gregor with us today. He is partner and CEO at Soulmates Venture. We're going to talk about VC, we're going to talk about startups, and we're going to talk about the Prague startup ecosystem, to be precise, and probably the European one on a broader level. We're going to start with Vaslav's background, which is quite interesting. He was into fitness and so forth, so quite excited to talk about that because I am into fitness also, pretty much as a biohacker since the last decade. Vaslav, can you say a little hello and give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Of course. Hello. So my name is Vaslav, and you're correct. When I was 17, I started looking to make some money online and didn't really know what to do. And actually started lifting some weights, learning about it. So I was like, well, let's talk about what I'm doing, right? Let's position myself as an expert, quote unquote. And because I learned a lot of things that actually worked, and started learning online marketing and started sending emails and requests to influencers and millionaires and the biggest bloggers in the US from a small city in Czech Republic. And I landed the first client that actually led me to create a 40 people tech company. And we started working for all these influencers in the fitness, dating, golf, and online marketing industry that people were, listening to as gurus and writing content. Each of the platforms had millions of users, was the biggest names in the industry. We sat in a lot of advisory boards, worked with people like Florida. So it was the first company I built and sold, built over 100 startups for my clients, made a couple of people big time millionaires, and part ways with my business partner. So I sold the company and moved to New York City for a little bit, learn venture capital, startups, and when I got back to Europe, I moved to Prague, and we actually founded our first investment company. Never thought I would be an investor, never wanted it, and here I am. So we created an investment accelerator. Nowadays we have 2 investment funds, and we are buying equity in startups and helping them grow.
What's your definition of wealth, and how is wealth felt and experienced?
I mean, obviously, you can look at it from a monetary perspective of, what you own, what you have, if it's luxury or no. I think Instagram skewed a lot of these definitions. I think the real wealth is not if you're wearing branded clothes. Real wealth is if you have the free will to do what you want, right? So to me, it's the freedom to go where I want to be able to buy things without having to worry if the inflation is making it worse, right, and so on. So normal things that a lot of people have to worry about because they have to be on Monday at work, they cannot take too much vacation, they cannot buy more expensive food, organic, because it costs a lot of money. So I think not having to worry about all these things is the wealth, because that gives you the freedom to actually live on your terms in freedom kind of mindset. Of course you have to abide the law and all this stuff, but it's already doing things on your terms. I think it's important. And yeah, to me that's the definition of freedom. And even that's even at my company, like I'm trying not to be the victim of my own setup, and rather make sure that every day I have several hours to think about strategies, next steps. So learning not to do everything myself. So that's to me is the wealth. And then later on share these strategies and philosophies with other people.
I think my definition has changed many times, but one interesting part of it is not worrying about money. And that doesn't mean necessarily to have money, like here I'm beach sides, and we visited yesterday a place right next to the beach, and there was this little hut next to this abandoned beach, and I'm guessing that some hipsters were living in there sometimes, sleeping on the beach straight up. And basically they don't worry about money, so they're wealthy. I think most humans have had like false conceptions about money. They have just false thoughts, if my bank account goes to zero, what do I do? And then there's all this stress, that comes with it. And I think that is the opposite of being wealthy. And you can have $1 million in your bank account, but what if your lifestyle costs 2 million a week? You'll be broke. And then what you'll start to do, you'll start worrying about money. So it's all these stress, it's all this cortisol that's released in your blood that affects your stomach. Even if it's not a number, it's just a feeling, and it's in what I'm describing, it's a false feeling. It's like, oh shit, what will I do if I don't have this money? And as humans, we always invent stories, right? Oh, what if I can have my $2 million a week lifestyle? I'll be miserable. No, you won't. You
Yeah, I mean,
lack the imagination to think about the different lifestyle.
yeah, I read some reports that there is so many people that actually like make very good money, right? So 1 or 2 million, and then like they have nothing left after a year, right? So even at this level, that for most people feels like a lot of money, like those people still live miserable and fear that they're running out of money. So it's really a mindset thing. So yeah, totally. Like I'm not keeping like a lot of money in the bank account, right? I'm always doing something with it, reinvesting in something back. But to me, it's like if I want to go somewhere for 2 weeks, I just want to go there, not have to think about what is happening if I'm away from the company, or how do I pay for a dinner and this. Like I want that fear to go away, and it's so programmed with us, with our from our families, schools, environment, media. So it's very hard to beat. And sometimes I look at people and they are fulfilling their own prophecies of like, quote unquote, I can never keep the money, I can never make the money. And they are missing opportunities. When they make money, they just spend it. Like it's they keep repeating the same cycle they've learned from other people. Yeah.
I'm big on the experimental mindset, which I don't see a lot of people using, which is that at every step and every actions that you take on a daily basis, you need to try to experiment first like a child, and then measure these results, and not focus on the negativity. Oh, I spent $50 on this volleyball that I just broke in 5 seconds. Sometimes you'll have failure, and it's just important that you evaluate your buying the same way that you evaluate how you make your sales, in a business. I think it's important that people take notes of their spending. And me, what I see on the opposite side of things, it's billionaires, a bit like Warren Buffett. I'm not saying he's not happy. I think he did found his happiness, but they don't spend, they're afraid to spend. And to me, to be able to make good conclusions on being a good spender, right? On investing money that brings more money, you need to have a certain quantity of spending. You need to make them moves, you need to not be scared, because we often see, these very rich folks, and they're just scared to death to pull out their money. And they're about to pull the trigger on an 80K Mercedes car, but it stresses the shit out of them to deploy that quantity of money. And they keep on coming back to this, oh shit, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Next thing they're full of cortisol and make really bad decisions, and it ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy that they want to do themselves some good with that investment, but in the end they're so stressed that they can't even enjoy it. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. It usually people come to that money. If they make it too quickly, then they tend to also lose it quickly. If it took them longer, then they are very wary of spending it. But it can grow to a point where they exactly don't even want to lose a buck. So I mean, I was always a big proponent of spending all the money on yourself. So whenever you can get better, eat healthier, look more presentable, or travel more, and educate yourself more, and build your own business, like that's where I was always putting all my money. And it's sometimes hard for people to imagine the results, because you cannot see it within like 5 minutes, right? But it will always pay back with very high returns if you invest in yourself, and if you travel and educate yourself and start a business. I think there's just no better way of investing money. And if people are making 50 or 100K a year, like it's pointless to be investing, in my opinions, in any huge advancement classes that will give you returns of like 6% a year in the next decade, right? So you just cannot afford, like for startups, it's the best performing asset in the world, but it's also the riskiest, and most people cannot afford it. So like, what's the point of investing a couple $100 if like you can't really make money on it, that right? So that's why some people try to make it big in crypto, but that's speculation. So like, investing in yourself first for 10 years, it's like, I think, the best thing you can do. And then with the actively coming cash flow from your business, not only you feel strong that if you lose it, you can always make it back, right? With your entrepreneurial mindset, because now you have so many skill sets that you can deploy. So it's like, well, I lose it, so what? It's not going to kill me, right? So I think it's the fear with people that they don't know how to make it back that's holding them from investing. So if you yourself have strong foundation, then you have actively money coming in from your business, then I think it's a good times to actually start investing in some bigger things, such as companies, startups, and so on.
I agree with that. Yeah, investing in one's health is underrated, and you will always get a return from health investments, whether it is your short-term brain performance or the couple of months or even years that you will gain from biohacking, for example. I also think, that as a wealth manager or VC, you're right that people that make their money quick, they're willing to spend it quick. They're kind of bipolar by nature, and think they can be a good target. If you're raising funds, they will depart pretty quick from their funds, and they'll have like higher risk portfolio. And if there was an AI that could spot these people, that'd be beautiful. I want to ask you with my last point though, as a guy that started out in fitness, how has investing in your fitness and your mental health has brought greater performance in your professional life?
It's a little tricky question, because I've actually run into a lot of health issues in my early life. Some things that probably could not be prevented with drinking some supplements. So, but I would probably not survive it if I wasn't doing weightlifting before. So it's not just that your body, whether a sportsman and amateur athlete, is stronger to fight anything that comes along. Um, it's not just the physical side, it's also the mental side. So if you suddenly run into something, and that can be, again, serious health issues, or it can be anything in your daily life, you are just prepared more to handle it. So that's why I think even like having kids do sports will prepare them for their career, because I think now that you had to lift or the weights, you had to compete, it like makes you stronger, more motivated in your mind, also combined with being more satisfied with how you look, how you perform physically in life, having better hormonal balances, so you should probably even feel more energy. I think is better. So sometimes when I see these like extremely rich, overweight people, I don't understand how they are even able to function at that level, because it's just difficult when you are not feeling good with yourself, right? So I think if you pay attention to and you get fit, um, it will also help you to be able to kill it during the day, at work. I just think that the winner's mindset is important, and sport is ideal way to adapt it.
Let's take what's that big shipping company is called? YC Batch, the founder's quite fat, but they're super successful. I mean, they had some crisis not so long ago, but my theory is that they just go all into work, and
Yeah,
they just they have a different background, probably some, I don't know, some trauma, or they've been some nerds, and they're still that way and so forth. Even Mark Benioff, is kind of fat. So they just dedicate their full attention to work. Elon was fat at the multiple times as well, and he doesn't sleep well. That's like a public fact right
but yeah,
there.
but I mean, this is not something like this. That's not a quality of life that I would want to ever live. So, of course, like financially, he's extremely successful. But again, like, what's the point of it if you are on a way to kill yourself in the next 10 years because you don't sleep, you only work behind a desk? It's like you have to pay the price somewhere. So then, like, people overwork themselves and they make the money, and then they try to buy back their health. It doesn't make any sense. So no, like,
Right.
I would never ever, even after all these experiences I had, I to deal with, like, because I've overworked myself in the past as well. It's like, that's, I think, the worst part you can do, and you don't realize it until you run into serious issues.
Right. Uh, Elon, it's like probably psychological issues, I don't think he optimizes for happiness, but extreme stress and even pain. I think his childhood has taught him that, pain's the way, and he needs to ignite this drama and so forth, which is why I'm sometimes scared, to leave the future of humanity in Elon's hand, because he seems to be the number one human on this planet Earth with humanity's future, or at least statistically speaking, whatever that means. Um, and second, I also know that, yeah, he won't live for long, so he won't even live to see the fruits of his labor. So yeah, I definitely hit some more scale, maybe like Brian Johnson. And yeah, I think it's we all need to participate in the future of this planet Earth. Some individuals have more power and money. Which leads to my next question, because we don't have long. Soulmates Venture, tell us a bit more about that one, and precisely how you distinguish yourself from all these other VCs, because you know what they say, that all money is green.
I see. I mean, for us, it's helpful that we also run an individual acceleration program. So whenever we invest, we are able to deploy a team of experts to really help the company grow and prepare it for the next investment round and scale globally. As far as the investment goes, we invest anywhere between 100,000 euros to 1 million. We are in the seed phase. So we need an MVP, active customer base, and some like something as far as the team goes. So it's like, it can be anything from 3 to 15 people. That shows that the founder is able to get people on board, product and sell it. So that's what we are looking for in terms of the setup. And the company needs to be doing something for the society. So we're investing in sustainability, which we find in eight streams in industries such as energy, air, water, up to education and actually healthcare. So tech and health tech solutions are also very important to us. So we measure the potential and by purpose. Both like needs to be there like 100%. Like we are not interested in that bring anything of value to the society.
Love it. And why should founders accept your money vs Sequoia's money?
I think it really comes core one of we are much smaller, much more boutique. So right now we are investing in European market. We had a couple investments here in Prague, in London, in Estonia, in Spain. So it's we're local here to Europe, and I think it's ideal for founders who an investor who cares about sustainability, but also an investor who's a partner who is able to just but actually take the team and sit in the company and help them build systems from marketing to financial modeling. That I think is the strongest part, because like money you can get anywhere else.
Right. And last question, where can people find out more about you, Vaslav?
Sure. I mean, I'm on the social media, so if they go to LinkedIn, they can search for Vaslav Gregor, and they can also email me at gregor@soulmatesventures.com. So that shouldn't be difficult to reach me.
And I'm Charles Cormier, host of CEOWisdomPodcast.com. You can find Vaslav Gregor on LinkedIn as well, and he has a website too. And you can also go to soulmatesventure.com. And that was in for another CEO Wisdom podcast.